Do you see what's the issue with this code? Here we have an actor that implements a network client. We have a first method called authenticate, which allows us to get an authentication token. And then we have another method called fetch newsfeed, which uses the authentication token to retrieve some actual data. This code will run perfectly fine. However, there's one annoying issue. The code assumes that the method authenticate will always be called before the method fetch newsfeed. However, the compiler has no way to enforce this rule. This is a problem because not only does it open up the way to potential bugs, but it also forces every call site of the method fetch newsfeed to deal with a potential error case. So how could we improve? We would like to have a mechanism that makes it impossible to call the method fetchNewsFeed as long as the property of token is still set to nil. This mechanism can be implemented by using something called the lock and key pattern. Here's how it works. First, we split our network client into two parts. On one side, an unauthenticated client, and on the other, an authenticated client. Then, in the authenticated client, we make the token non-optional. This means that in order to initialize an authenticated client, it will now be mandatory to provide a token. Finally, we also update the unauthenticated client so that the method authenticate now returns an authenticated client. Thanks to these changes, we now have the compile time guarantee that when a method is called on an authenticated client, a token will always be available. The initializer of the authenticated client has become a lock around its methods, and the token has become the key which opens that lock. Hence the name of the lock and key pattern. That's all for this video. I hope you've enjoyed discovering this new pattern to make your code safer. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Thank you for watching and see you next time.